Welcome back to the Leopard channel. In this video, we will be talking about the fifth iteration in the Indiana Jones movies. Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny is what it's called, I believe. It's the one where we have old man Harrison Ford. Now, I didn't watch this movie when it first came out because everything that I saw regarding that movie made it seem like Indiana Jones was just going to be a useless old man and be replaced by the girl boss Helena Shaw. But now that I saw the movie, that's not really the case. I'd say that they're probably more on equal footing in that movie. And I guess before we jump into it, I should warn you all that there will be spoilers for the movie. So if you haven't seen it and you want to watch it before you watch this, then go watch the movie first. And yeah, so we'll just go ahead and jump straight into we'll discuss the movie plot first, I guess. So first, the movie starts with a young Indiana Jones that has been captured by the Nazis, searching for some artifact as per usual with him, and he then gets. This is towards the end of the war as well, with Hitler kind of hiding and the U.S. winning. And we have God, it's massive brain fart. That's what I have. The Nazis take Indiana Jones up to like the top of the building that they've been basing at, and they're about to hang him when a bomb drops into the building and drops down all the way down to the bottom floor before exploding, and of course Indiana Jones survives somehow. And then after that there's a big old chase scene through like forest and whatnot, until Indiana Jones reaches a train, boards the Nazi train, and on this train is where the Nazis are like, after they've been attacked, all their artifacts are now being kept on the train, and so Indiana Jones gets on the train and then fights some Nazis, looks at the artifacts, then discovers that his friend is Basil or Basil. He calls him Baz, is what Indiana Jones calls him. I think it was Basil. And Basil was being tortured on the Nazi train because he also got captured. And I think the artifact that they were looking for turned out to be fake, but then the Nazis were discussing a different artifact that they had a piece of that is actually authentic and real, which was the Antikythera, which was made by Archimedes, who is a Greek mathematician. And then after that, there's the train. They managed to escape and are picked up by the Allies, I believe. And then we have a big old time jump into around when the moon landing happened, because it was on we literally time jumped to a parade for the moon landing, and we have an old man Indy introduced to us, who is a history professor, as he I think he was that in the other movies, but now he's old, and he plans on retiring. So the staff of his university that he's teaching at throws him a retirement party, and he seems like he's kind of fed up with this younger generation because they don't care about history. Like literally, every one of his students, it's like nodding off to his lecture, which he's funnily enough giving about the Antikythera. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. So, yeah. And then afterwards, he gives his gift that he got from the other staff there at the university. He just gives that to a homeless man, and then goes to a bar, where his granddaughter, not granddaughter, his goddaughter, which is Helena Shaw, and she's Basil's daughter, or Baz's daughter. She follows him into the bar, and then uses her relationship with Indiana Jones to basically convince him by faking to not remember things, because she was like a kid whenever Indiana Jones took the piece of that it's the dial of destiny. That's what it is. So yeah, he took that long ago when she was still just a kid, promising her Basil that he would destroy it, and then obviously he did not destroy it. Otherwise, we would have no movie, right? So she uses her relationship with Indy to convince him to show. She uses her relationship and her in deception to have Indy show her the piece of that dial, and then she takes it. Yeah, and then the Nazis are after her. So, and the main bad guy of this is some Nazi scientist, or archaeologist. I think he's also a mathematician, to be honest. I don't know what he is. I don't think that's ever said, but his name is Voller, and he's the reason why the Americans were able to go to space, because he was the head of the rocket, right? And yeah, so then he is obviously still a sourpuss about losing the Second World War, and he wants to use this dial, which can locate fissures in time, apparently, and through that he wants to then kill Hitler and take over the Nazi regime for himself so that they can win, is basically what he wants. So that's why he's after the dial, and he has the help of some dumb Americans that for some reason have joined the Nazi movement, and the CIA apparently is also helping him, because they gave him funding so that he could make the rocket, probably. And yeah, so then the Nazis obviously show up to the kind of storage room where the university kept their artifacts, and because that's where Indiana Jones had his piece of the Antikythera. So she takes that, runs as soon as, and Indiana Jones is running with her, and then she closes a door on Indiana Jones and locks it, so that he's just stuck with these Nazis that are coming after him. And there's one CIA agent there as well, who I think was undercover in Indiana Jones's class, and then At least I think I remember seeing her there. Anyways, so then obviously Indiana Jones is not willing to go with the Nazis, so he runs away. Again, another chase scene with both Helena and Indiana Jones being able to escape. And then after that, Indy is wanted for murder for some reason, even though he's... I don't know why, because we had the CIA agent there. I guess because they just want to find him, so they put him out, like, that he's wanted for murder, even though the CIA agent knows that he didn't kill anyone, but the people that the CIA agents working for did kill people. So, because they killed 2 of the other staff that worked at the university. And then, anyways, Indy follows Helena all the way to a casino in Morocco where she's trying to sell the piece of the dial to a bunch of rich people. And apparently this is also the casino where that is owned by the drug lord of the son that she was supposed to marry, but then fled that marriage and is massively in debt to, which is not good for her because later that comes back to kind of bite her in the butt. But she, Indy shows up, kind of stops the sale from going through, and then the Nazis also show up at that exact same time. Wow. And this is the first time that they're seeing Voller in, like, face to face. And Indiana Jones thinks he recognizes him, which he should, because or at least he should, in quotation marks, because he didn't see him that much. He only saw him whenever he punched him in the face, and then that was it. So yeah. Anyways, the Nazis, Voller is able to take the piece of the artifact that they have and then escape. And after a very long chase scene with Indiana Jones, Helena Shaw, and her little, like, the child companions that are often in these Indiana Jones movies. His name was Teddy, and he is kind of like a pickpocket, and he was learning how to... He has a bunch of... As we saw him in the casino, he had a bunch of, like, gizmos, which were basically, like, how to... like... It was like he was trying to learn how to fly a plane, I'm pretty sure. Or he was learning how to do that. And he had, like, a little setup where it's not an actual plane, but it had all, like, the gauges and, like, the stick and everything like that. So, anyways, Nazis, they kind of escape because Indiana Jones, Helena, and Teddy have to deal with Helena's fiance, which is the son of that Moroccan mobster. They have to deal with him chasing them as well. So the Nazis get picked up by the CIA, then they kill the CIA agents that captured them, and yeah, so that's great. And then, I mean, the Nazis have all the notes that Basil made about where to find this, like, guide thing. I don't remember what it's called. Even if I did, I don't think I'll be able to pronounce it. I know it starts with a G, but that's pretty much it. But then, so yeah, and then Helena and Indiana Jones, Helena remembers the notes, at least some of them, enough to know where the guide thing that they will need. I'm gonna call it the guide code. That's not what it's called, but it's like a tablet thing that has a code on it that leads them to the other piece of the dial. So they go to where the first piece was found, and then they have to dive deeper because it's underwater, and half of the ship kind of fell farther down than the other half. so they have to go down to get that. And Indiana Jones actually called in a favor from one of his friends that has a boat to be able to do this. And then, believe it or not, but as they get to the surface, the Nazis are there, and they get captured again. They get captured by the Nazis, and they take the guide thing, but none of them know how to read the code, except for Helena and Indiana Jones. They both know how to read it. And Indy's not giving in. He's not going to read it, and then they kill Indy's friend, and then Helena starts reading it for the right price, So she reads it, and then she's kind of going around the entire room in the boat, on the boat, asking all of these Nazis questions, but also giving them, if they don't give her the answer, then she answers it for them, and kind of performatively telling them all the information that they need to know, which is incorrect information. That's just on the front of the dial, which we will see, because then she has dynamite in her pocket, which I don't know where she got that, and she basically, that's how they escape. They light the dynamite in Helena's pocket with a cigarette, and then throw it on the boat, and then run away, and then that's how they escape, which is really weird. So then apparently it's made out of wax and wood, is what the little tablet was made out of, so they melt the wax off, and inside is another different code that leads them to the actual piece of the puzzle that they need. So then they go to Sicily, where they find the tomb of Archimedes, who inside the tomb has the other piece for the dial. So then they put those two pieces together, and believe it or not, the Nazis follow them, because that's what they do. But as the Nazis follow them, they also kidnap Teddy, and then Indiana Jones basically is we don't need to rescue them. Teddy's he's a smart kid, so he's most likely going to escape, and he's their hostage, so they're not going to hurt him anyways. So you can just kind of leave him, and so instead go after the thing that the Nazis want, and so that way that they can't get what the Nazis want, But anyways, all that stuff happens. The Nazis show up literally inside the tomb with them, kidnap. Teddy was able to actually escape and kill the big Nazi, and he learned how to swim, so good on him. And then movie plot, right? So the Nazis showed up in Archimedes' tomb. There's more Nazis than there are good guys, so the good guys were at disadvantage, and basically Indiana Jones gets shot in the shoulder, and tells Helena and Teddy to run, and then they do, and Indiana Jones gets kidnapped by the Nazis again, and then he's taken to a base where Voller reveals his plan to go back in time, kill Hitler, take over the Nazi regime, and then win the war. But apparently Indiana Jones figures out while they're on the plane and Helena also sneaks aboard onto the plane while Teddy takes a plane from there's the guy sleeping in the back of a plane, and then Teddy flies that plane before the guy wakes up. And so Indiana Jones figures out that that Archimedes didn't know about continental drift, so therefore all of the calculations for the dial will be off, and they go into the time fissure there and end up in 214 BC Sicily, where Sicily's being raided by the Romans, and instead of where the Nazis wanted to go. Anyways, the Nazi plane gets totaled because these giant ballista bolts shoot into the plane, tearing it apart, kind of killing one of the pilots, and they crash and die. But Indiana Jones manages to get Helena and jumps out of they jump out of the plane with the parachute, and they land safely. And then they briefly meet Archimedes towards the end of that, and Indiana Jones wants to stay behind and doesn't want to go back to the normal time. And then Teddy lands his plane, and the guy has woken up. But I mean, you're not gonna if somebody's flying your plane, you're not going to make them stop flying your plane and accidentally crash, So, Teddy lands the plane down there, and Helena punches Indiana Jones in the face, knocking him out, and brings him back, and they all get brought back to their current timeline. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. Everybody lives happily ever after. So, now, we get into my thoughts on the movie. Honestly, I thought it was pretty good. It kind of surprised me. I thought it was not going to be good. It was actually pretty good. There's a few things that I would change, which we will talk about, and how I would improve things. One of those things is minor. There's really not much I would change about this movie. Personally, I don't think that's the right direction they should have gone, though. With the franchise, just in general, but it was still a good movie. That doesn't mean it was a bad movie. I personally don't think that's the direction they should have gone. And I'll probably make a video on the way I would have taken the franchise instead of what they did here. So that might come out at some point. I don't know when. But other than that, I thought it was fairly good. There's just a couple things, and then I don't know what else to say. It was decent. So I guess let's just jump into how I improve things. Okay, the first one is really just a nitpick, because first things first. Why does Helena have dynamite in her pocket? It does not make sense. Now, if while she's running around, we can see her pick up a thing of dynamite, which might have happened and I might have missed, that would make more sense, and then we don't have a problem. But we also need to see her pick up a cigarette as well. So, again, she could have done that in the film. I want to know. Otherwise, because otherwise she just has dynamite in her pocket, and it's just weird. And then this is the main thing that I had trouble with, mainly story-wise, because we have both Voller and Indiana Jones, which are two people that are kind of stuck in the past. Indiana Jones is obviously he's upset because he wants to change the past so that his son doesn't die in the war, and Voller wants to change the past so he can win the Second World War. But also, I feel like Indiana Jones is kind of stuck in the past because he feels like his glory days are done, and he doesn't like the future. He feels old and useless is pretty much what I'm getting at. Or I guess not old and useless, but he feels like he misses the old days is I guess what I'm getting at there, where he was going around getting artifacts. He misses that. So with that in mind, since the dial has the ability to make them go back in time, and so basically that they can do that, they can change history, which I don't think is a good thing to do, and I don't think it works well with the actual plot of the story as a theme. because basically what that allows is like, it's like, yeah, you have this magical device that can allow you to go back in time and you can change the decisions that you made, so your decisions don't matter in the first place, because if you don't like them later, you can just go back in time and change them. Whereas with our two characters that are stuck in the past, and it's really like three, because I think Helena is kind of stuck in the past as well, because she is focused on proving her father right, I think, is her main goal. And she actually has pretty good character development, because she starts off like not a very good person who is actually only in it for the money, and then later on through the movie she kind of grows and doesn't want to leave Indiana Jones behind. And I think she actually wanted to go save Teddy, but Indiana Jones, you brought up a good point. It's like, they're not going to hurt him, and he's a smart kid, so he's probably going to escape anyways. Or like he'll figure out how to escape on his own, which he did. So, boom, look at that. But yeah, anyways, the time thing, it would make more sense. I wish that the Ency-Kathyra, the Dial of Destiny, did not allow people to go back in time, or sense these time fissures. It would have been better if it just didn't work, and then that way, I mean, you could still have a fight like on the plane in like the middle of a storm where it doesn't work, and have to have Indiana Jones and her jump out of the plane and stuff like that. But the reason why I don't think that works with him actually being able to go back in time is because, since you have these characters that are stuck in the past, it would make more sense to have them not be able to go back to be able to change those decisions that they made, instead have to live with the impact of those decisions and still move on with their lives. Like, they can regret that decision, but they still need to accept that those decisions are made, but they can be changed by not going back in the past, but instead by actually reconciling and stuff like that. Because I know Indiana Jones also had a fight with Marion, who was his wife. So like they were like divorced or separated, and after the death of their son, but he could still, in the present, go to her and try to reconcile that and save the relationship if he wanted to do that. He can't get his son back, right? But your actions have consequences, and I think that would have been a more impactful story, is them seeing, it's like, oh, like, yeah, this device that is supposed to allow us to go back in time doesn't actually work, so we actually have to live with our decisions that we make, so try not to regret making those decisions. And if you do, then try to reconcile before it becomes more impactful, you know. I just think that would have been more impactful for the story-wise. But anyways, that's pretty much it for how I think it could have been improved. I don't think time travel doesn't really work for a lot of movies. It really needs to be like, unless it's like a comedy, like Hot Tub Time Machine or something like that. But if it's like for like a main plot, it usually never works very well. Usually never. But that's all for this video. If you enjoyed, then please do leave a like and subscribe, because that would help a lot. And like I said, I might make a video in the future about where I would have taken the Indiana Jones franchise, which is why I'm not going to discuss it in this one. So, with that being said, I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.